welcome back to my channel, and today I am going to be showing you how to do basic imvu edits, like the really basic ones where you have a blank background, like you can have any color background, and then a shadow of your avi, and then just like a little repaint edit of your avi skin, like some shading and some little highlights and that type of thing. This is how I actually started out doing my edits, and everyone that is an old follower or an old subscriber know this. Like, my first video on my channel was the how to do a shadow for your edits, and it was really highly requested when I kept doing it on my imvu page. So I'm gonna show you some examples at the moment what my basic edits looked like. They're really basic. I didn't do much with like the hair, didn't do much with the skin, and I'm so glad that I improved ever since then. And that was like in 2018. So I have been doing this for like 2 years to get to the point where I look professional and whatever. So that's why I'm telling you all every time that you've got to practice. Like, there's certain thing that you can't really do that well, and then you can move on to newer things and then keep just teaching yourself. Yeah, let me get right into this video. So the first thing that you need to do is get your picture. I'm gonna show you right now how to take your picture without a background. Okay, so I know like this is like the most ghettoest way. Is that even the right word to even describe what I'm doing? But this laptop is not really good at recording stuff on the screen, so I'm just doing this little short recording to show you what I mean when I take pictures on PC without the background. So I press this chair icon right here, and then when I click it, it has this green background. Then after you take your pic, it literally doesn't have a background when you put it on the platform you're using to create your edit. So, and I take the picture. Okay, that's not a good picture, but you get the point. If you do have a picture that has a background, like you took it on mobile because you don't have a computer to take pictures without the background, I will show you right now. I'm gonna get a picture of Kylie Jenner to show you how you basically take a picture without the background off. That did not make any sense, but you get what I mean. This is really easy to do. On Ibis Paint, you can't do this. You got to have an eraser and just go around it. But on Procreate, this is how you would do it. And then I'm going to use the select tool, and I'm just gonna go around the picture like this, and just keep tapping it like this. And it's so much easier when you do it with hair that doesn't have too many strands, so you can properly do this. So make sure you go all the way around. Because if you don't, then it's just gonna like do its own thing when you invert the picture. So I'm gonna be inverting it, and that's how it's going to easily do all the work taking out the background. I actually just learned how to do this on a YouTube video when I was just trying to practice how to make fruits and stuff like that. I actually don't know how to do a lot of objects and stuff. Like, I know a lot of you don't follow me on Instagram, which you should, by the way. It's Baby Girl Shay. It's the same name as my imvu username. And when I was making this art, I couldn't do the glasses. So when you've selected the whole picture, it's going to have like this little thing going on. The next thing you do is you invert it, and now it's just on Kylie Jenner. You just go on the arrow and just take the background off. I'm still kind of new at this, but I would just move it at the top and you wouldn't really see it. So that's basically how you do it, and it's took most of it off nicely, and then you can just do the work and keep going and do it neater. So you get the point, it's really easy. After you've selected it, just invert, use the arrow, move it away from the canvas, and there you go. So I'm gonna get my Avi into the picture. I also suggest that when you edit on Procreate, your canvas size should be the square size that Procreate already did for you. I'll show you right now actually. So it's right here where it says square. You just want to use that because so when you post your picture on IG, you're not going to lose any pixels and quality from your picture. It's still going to look really nice. So that's what I've learned on YouTube again, because on my phone I didn't really need to do that because the quality didn't really change, but on your iPad it dramatically changes because obviously the screen is bigger. Okay, so now you have your Avi in the canvas. The next thing that I would do is fix the glitches and stuff. So I've got a glitch right here. I think I would use this and make it black. And by the way, a lot of people ask me if I'm using my fingers or a stylus. I'm using the Apple pencil. But the whole time though on my channel I've been using my phone and my fingers. I just recently started using the iPad and the pencil 2 months ago, just for the people that kind of ask. So I'm just gonna color this all in. To be honest, from far away you're not gonna tell a difference. And I'm just gonna do this part as well. So another thing to do, make it simple, you can take your Avi without imvu's hair and make your own hair, so that also makes the edit look really nice. But I decided to use hair because when I was starting out doing this, I used hair from imvu and just worked with it, and basically what I mainly was doing was editing my Avi's face. There wasn't always much to edit. So I'm gonna go back on my Avi's layer to fix this little glitch here. If you think that you could pull this off in Ibis, yes you can. All the features are the same, it's just a different platform, and that would probably confuse you if you're new to doing this. Okay, so I still got a little glitch that I need to fix right here. Now I'm going to make a new layer and just to repaint the skin a little bit. So I'm going to pick this color, and it should be dark enough to shade in her skin a little bit. And I'm using the round brush, and on Ibis Paint you can use the soft dip pen brush. I'm not gonna do anything complicated because I wasn't complicated when I was doing this. And then I'm gonna gradually go darker and then make my way down her body as well. And then the next thing is just highlighting. So the next thing that I'm doing now is gonna smudge this out. On Ibis Paint I wouldn't do the same exact step because smudging is really hard on Ibis. So I'm gonna suggest that you kind of blur it out a little bit, but don't do too much. So my brush size is gonna be about 11%, and I'm smudging downwards. And then I'm just gonna gradually keep going towards her face. And then making the brush bigger a little bit. Okay, so now we are going to create a new layer, and we're going to darken that same color we used just a little bit, not too much. And I'm going to use it on the sides of her face here. And don't worry if it looks messy. Alright, the next thing I want to do is merge layer 2 down with this one because we used it to fix the glitch on her hair, and then use clipping mask for these two to clean it up. I'm actually going to merge these two so I can blend the two colours properly together. And remember to keep changing your brush size because it doesn't have to be the same as mine that I'm using. And now I'm going on the eraser and if it touched the hair. So she's starting to look better. Now I'm going to pick this colour and I'm going to go on a new layer, clipping mask, and we are going to use it to darken the other areas of her face, like here and here and on her lip and here as well, and here. This is literally so easy because you're just enhancing what your Abby looks like with just a little bit of paint. For Ibis Paint users, blurring out the shades on this part that I'm doing at the moment, make sure to erase the middle part of the nose because you want the nose to look really defined when you blur it out. Not every avatar suits a nose contour like mine, so I'm just going to smudge it out, like I'm gonna drag it away from the bridge of her nose and just have the darker shades like around here where I'm dragging it to. So remember to clean the areas that the darker shade shouldn't be at. Okay, so now I'm going to enhance the look of the nose. Remember always to have the clipping mask on, and I'm just going to pick this color right here. I'm going to start contouring from the side. In my older videos, I remember using multiply to do this part, and honestly, the way I edit now, when I paint and stuff, I just darken the color every time, so I don't really need to use that mode, multiply, to darken the color. But sometimes you can use it, it just depends on your preference. But I don't feel like I need to use it all the time. and then just clean the edges. And now I'm gonna do the middle with a darker color. And my brush size is like 3%. And as you can see, that difference it makes. We're not done yet. We still got the bottom part to do. So with her neck, the shade that you want to use is just tap that shade under her neck and then go in this circle right here and make it as really dark, not too dark, but close enough. And if it's not dark enough, then we're just gonna keep going down that shade. But that wasn't dark enough. I'm actually looking for a warmer shade. Should be this one. Yeah, this is the right shade. And after this, we're just gonna keep going darker, but not too dark. Your brush size should be a bit bigger, like maybe 8%, and just like smudge about in circles. And then make your brush size bigger to like 13%. You want to like make it into an ombre. Okay, and now we're going to make this darker, like 2 shades darker. So it should look like this a bit, and you're going to just clean up the sides. It makes a big difference when you remember to do this, and your work is obviously neater. So don't be that person that doesn't clean up their work a bit on the sides and just where the paint shouldn't be at. And there we go. Okay, so the next part we're doing is the chest. Everyone always asks me how to do that part, and it's really simple. A lot of you always use like one dark color to shade, and it's always like different several colors to shade. And also you can see she's got some pink shades around here, and that's what makes painting skin so realistic, because you're not using 1 or 2 colors, like 1 color to highlight, 1 color to shade. So I'm gonna start around her boobs and then her collarbone as the last thing. Actually no, that's not going to be the last thing, because we got to shade in her arms. Editing like this did not take me this long at first, because obviously I was new, I didn't know all these other stuff that would make your edits look way better. But because you follow me, your first time is going to be awesome. So I'm just going to pick this color right here in the middle. It's the darkest one near her chest. Just gonna put it right here, drag it along. And do the same on the other side. Your brush size should be like 14%. My brush size won't be comfortable for everyone that's watching this video. Yeah, you can keep changing it if you want to. Make sure your smudging is really neat. And now I'm cleaning up the edges. So now the next thing I'm doing is taking this pink shade and I'm going to darken the color a bit. Make sure it's a warm shade so you can actually get the shade that I'm doing right here, or if you have a similar skin tone than my Avi. And now I'm gonna do the collarbone. I can do everything on the same layer because they're not all close together and I'm not going to accidentally smudge the other thing. If I was blurring with Gaussian blur, I won't be able to do everything on the same layer. But if you're comfortable with doing that, then that's what you gotta do. So yeah, the last part we got shade is the arms, and then we're gonna highlight. So I'm actually gonna use the same tone to shade the arms. I'm only gonna do like half of it because around here where I'm making a line, I'm going to add a darker shade to that part. You only need to shade like where it would be darker, where it has highlights. That's just where you would highlight. You don't need to do it here. And also, if you want to get the same look my Avi has right now, you should definitely go check out my last video where I actually created this Avi that I really love so much. She looks so cute, and if you like her as well, you can go look at that video because I showed all the products to it. Oh yeah, we also got to shade some parts of the clothing because that also enhances your whole edit as well, no matter how simple your edit is. So I'm just spreading it out in circles, and then I go back upwards, but I'm not letting it spread too much on the end. And then on my new layer, where I'm going to shade the t-shirt and this bit right here on her arm, is the last bit of shading, and we're going to start highlighting. And there you go, look at that difference. This is the darkest color, and we're gonna start off with that. Actually, we're gonna just darken it up a little bit more, and then we're gonna use it. What makes this easy as well is I'm using the same brush as well. I always do in most of my artwork that I do. So I'm gonna put it around the shoulders, here, and here. And here, here. Then you can like spread it out. Make sure you keep blending till it looks right to you. And I'm erasing as I go. So each section that I did, I erased the parts that should not be there. So your avi should look somewhat like mine, pretty shaded and stuff. Now we're gonna highlight. And the highlight I'm using is just the one on her cheek. And because it's going to look like the same color, I'm obviously going to lighten it up a little bit. And make sure my brush is not too big. Start like this. And then after I've highlighted this way, I'm going to actually start using textured brushes and enhance the highlight. So make sure you blend it out carefully, and your brush is not too big. So like maybe 13 or 14%. Okay, so now we should look like this. I'm just going to show you in case you don't think there's a difference. There's a little difference. Now I'm going to do the nose, so same color, and we're just gonna make it way more lighter than the cheeks. Your brush size should not be too big. You don't want to wreck the bridge of your nose, and you want it to still have definition. Make sure your brush size is also the right size when you're smudging it. So my Abby's nose have a little dot. I'm just going to go on her Abby right now and just smudge it off. I'm just gonna redo this whole nose. Every nose shape has a different way you would highlight the tip of the nose, so that's why I did it this way. Okay, now I'm gonna do this part. So the same thing, just pick the color, make it lighter, and then smudge it out. So just keep blending until you think everything looks even. Alright, so now I'm going to add texture to the highlight. So going back and picking this color, and I'm going to link down the brush set I'm using, but it's Crisp Skin and Glitter. It's not expensive to get on the website called Gumroad, and I'm using the blinding highlight. It's the highlight texture I always use in all my edits. To be honest, you don't really need it because most of the time I actually just leave my ivy looking like this after I highlight it, because I pick the color and I go lighter and lighter every time, so it looks like I used the mode add and I did a lot with the highlight, but I didn't. So I'm not using a mode for this one. The brush already kind of has it, as you can see. So you don't need to do too much with this brush, just make sure you have a light hand with it. You can put this wherever you want. And then I'm just gonna put a little bit on her boot here, just classic places where you would highlight. Then this last layer, I think, is going to be, it's gonna have add, and I'm gonna use the same color that I still got. This is already in Procreate. You just go in touch-ups and actually not touch-ups, you go in luminance, and I'm using this flare. Make sure that it's really low because I'm just using it to and make sure that there isn't a clipping mask. I did that by accident. And I'm just using it to enhance the earrings, and then the watch, just sparkly places. Basically that's it, nothing much. And I'm gonna just change my brush to the technical pen, which is in the inking section, and the color white for my Avi's eye. Okay, so the next thing I'm gonna do is make the background not show, and I am going to save this. Make sure it's a PNG. Go back to gallery, bring the picture back, choose what color background you want. So I'm just gonna choose this color, and I'm gonna make a duplicate of my Avi, put it under this, go on this, hue, saturation, brightness, make it all the way black, and then on this one that isn't colored, you're going to just move her, and this is how you get your shadow. Then go back here and just use opacity and bring it down, and then you can use Gaussian blur and blur out your shadow, and there you go. There's another thing that I would do is I get a PNG picture on Google and I do this. So I get this picture and make it just look less basic. So of course I wouldn't leave it like this. I lower the opacity a bit, and sometimes I change the color to match whatever's going on in my Avi. But yeah, I really hope that you like how yours turned out and this video was easy to follow. Ask me questions in the comments because I will answer them. And yeah, I'll see you in my next video.